Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today in War Thunder it is time to have a look at another devblog for another ship. Before we had of course the Australian ship which is going into the British tree, now it's time for another German ship going of course in the German tech tree. This is the Prinz Eugen, and if you don't know what the Prinz Eugen is, it is another member of the Admiral Hipper class heavy cruiser. The problem, at least in my opinion, is this thing is premium, and we'll go into that in a little bit, and the issues that, at least in my opinion, it's going to cause on top of the other ones as well. But the main thing to understand is this is a new top tier, top BR vehicle which is coming to the game for the Germans. So, another heavy cruiser. Gagin already said that in a recent news article they were looking to add stuff like battle cruisers when it comes to the future. Well, this is another step towards that. It's another step in the heavy cruiser realm, and hopefully, other nations will be able to catch up. We already have heavy cruisers such as the Pensacola, which is of course in the US tree. You of course have the kind of underpowered but still that British heavy cruiser, and well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Soviets. Are they going to get their Admiral Hipper class, which has definitely a lot less guns, but we'll have to see what happens. Now, before we go into the history and everything like that, I think it's time to put out some opinions and understand. I know when it comes to this stuff, a lot of people are going to be happy to see this machine. A lot of people are going to like the fact that the Eugen is coming into the game, and for me personally, I am happy that it's coming into the game. What I'm not happy about is its premium status, and this is the same opinion that I have when it comes to other machines in the game as well, not just the Eugen coming. I also believe that the Helena shouldn't be a premium vehicle, the USS Helena, because it is a better version than the Brooklyn, which is in the standard tech tree. Then we have a look at the HMS Belfast, which is once again another top tier premium, or sorry, I should say top BR premium, which is sat in the game. So for me personally, when I have a look at vehicles like this, I think it is kind of silly with the fact that they are coming into the game as these top BR premiums. And the reasons why I say top BR premiums, because the Prinz Eugen is been made specifically a rank 4 machine. And this is kind of the annoying sales tactic that Gagin does every time. So the interesting thing is, if you go back to their live streams where they talk about stuff such as their premiums in the game, they do this slide tactic, and it's really annoying, and I wish one day it was addressed. The fact is, a lot of people say that they don't like top tier premiums, and they don't like the fact that you can buy them straight off the bat. They don't like the fact that you can get into top tier without playing the game at all, and you can just buy your way in. And what Gagin say every time, which we saw in the last live stream with Kirill Udintsev and also Sean, is the fact that they say, well, they're not top tier, and they're correct, but it's a sleight of hand, right? And I'll show you why. So going into the game right now, they are technically not top tier. So the US has a rank 5 machine, the Pensacola. The Helena is a rank 4 machine. Even though they're the same BR, they are two different ranks. So by saying, same with the HMS Belfast and the Hawkins. And for the Germans, the Hipper isn't even a rank 5. It's actually just sat as a rank 4. So once again, if this is put up to rank 5, which it could be, and the Eugen is sat at rank 4, this means that they aren't breaking the promise of having non-top tier vehicles, because none of these vehicles are top tier, but they are top BR, and that is the bit I would like addressed. I want to know why people can go into the game of War Thunder with a top BR vehicle without having to play the rest of the game, because ranks have nothing to do with matchmaking. Ranks don't matter. The only thing that ranks matter about is how research works in the game, right? And putting them as a rank 4 machine, they can still efficiently research every part of that tech tree. And this is the same with stuff like the KA-50. This is the same with stuff like the Hunter FGA-9, I believe it is. All of these top ranking premium, top BR premiums, they're still in the game. They still exist. but they always obfuscate the question by changing it. And what I would like is somebody to, at Gaijin, talk about the fact that these are top BR vehicles instead of using the rank as a scapegoat or using it to obfuscate the question. I want to know why Gaijin thinks it's okay for having top BR premium vehicles, right? So people can just come into the game, play the top tiers of the game, and if that's the case, do they care about progression at all? Do they care about the fact that, you know, you have to kind of earn your way or grind your way through tech trees, or would they much prefer, just as Kirill said on that live stream, give options to everyone wherever they want to play, or make everything paid? You know, make everything have a pay option. You know, just make it so with the HIPAA, you can just purchase it outright instead of having to, you know, research it at all. Why have something like the free XP that is required to be able to boost everything? Why not just get rid of that and just make it so people can just buy something like the Admiral HIPAA when you are offering something like the Eugen? It's just, it's a really annoying scenario to know that you have individuals who will take ages to get to the top ranks of these vehicles, to work really hard to get through them, or you could just bump $60 down and get, you know, a vehicle of your choice. The other problem, and this is the main problem, which is the one I will never shut up about, and it seems to constantly happen in Naval, and nobody seems to be bothered about it, is the fact that all of these vehicles are better than their tech tree counterparts. This has been happening since the destroyers. There's a reason why all of these tech trees, I pretty much just finished at destroyers. I am just not interested in the destroyer part of the game. You can see there are a bunch of them that I've researched, and I've actually played a decent amount of them. You can see with the Japanese, the last tree, I haven't even touched them since the Sionen was added. The thing is, right, the destroyers, which were added into the game, for these naval tech trees, such as the Cowl, then you have stuff like the Karl Golster, the original destroyers I'm talking about here, the Project 7 Ustronyi, the Haida, which is gone, and then, of course, the other one, which is the Kiyashimo. These are all better versions of their tech tree counterparts. They are just better. They have more guns, they have the same speed, they have the same armor, they have the same everything. They're just better. And we're seeing the same trend again. Once again, the Helena is just a better version than the Brooklyn. It is better in, it is either the same or it is better than the Brooklyn in every single way. So you are paying for power with this vehicle. It is as simple as that. And then when we have a look at the British one, the Belfast, yes, it's slightly different to the Town Class. There are differences between them, which is great, but at the same time, you could still make the argument for the Belfast, you know, being a better pay-to-win vehicle. But you don't even have to make that argument, because you can just make it with all the damn destroyers that they added in last year. The other thing as well is going to the HIPAA. Right now, we are once again seeing the same trend. The Eugen is a better vehicle than the HIPAA, and I'll show you why. So if we have a look at the HIPAA, right, it has 8 203mm main guns. It has 12 105mm secondaries. Then you have 12 37mm, 10 20mm on top of 8 others, that's 18, and then you have 22. Okay, you have 22 of these 20mm. Now, you've got to remember, the Eugen that is being put into the game is the 1945 modernized version. So this is the last version of the HIPAA before it was blown up by the Americans in a nuclear test. That means that it has all of the bells and whistles which the Admiral HIPAA, which we have in game, does not have. If you have a look at its guns right here. So, let's see what it has. As a result, daring pilots who seek a clash with the Prinz Eugen can expect to go up against 4 double 37mm cannons, 6 quadruple 20mm cannons, 2 double 20mm cannons, as well as a whopping 18 single 40mm captured Bofors cannons. So let's do, let's do the count again. So the Eugen has the same main guns as the Hipper, so it's the same. Has the same engines, I also believe, so it's the same. Has pretty much the same armor as well, so that's the same there. Then you have, the same secondaries. It has exactly the same 105s. Okay, that's great. So let's have a look at the other parts. It has 4 double 37s, so it only has 8 of the 37s compared to the 12 of the Admiral Hipper. So it's -4 on the 37 front, right? Let's all write this down and have some fun. The next part, so it has 6 quadruple 20mm. Okay, 6, 12, 18, 24. Great. Plus 2 double ones. So that's another what? That's another 4. So it's got 28 of these. So that's plus 6 when it comes to the 20mm. Wonderful. How many 40mm has the Admiral Hipper got? Can anyone answer? Oh yeah, it's got none. It's got absolutely 0. Okay, so we're plus 18 40mm. Okay? So that gives us a total overall of tertiary power, let's call it, for the Eugen. So it's minus 4 37mm, so, that's not great. Plus 6 20s, so I think that makes up for it. And then plus 18 40mm. You'd have to be brain dead to think that this is on the same level as the Admiral Hipper. I understand that when it comes to ship combat, when it comes to general, fighting larger ships, that part isn't going to matter. And that probably isn't going to matter to a lot of people. But as a person who is interested in the pay-to-win aspects of the game, when I see a vehicle which you have to pay for, you cannot grind the Prinz Eugen, and it is mathematically better in every way than the Admiral Hipper, or it's the same as it in the ways where it's not better, that is categorically a pay-to-win vehicle, which is what we see here. And it's something that we've seen in ships since ships has come out. It is a problem which has stayed with ships and will constantly stay with ships because nobody else seems to care about this. And if you don't care, and you're fine with just buying, you're fine with just buying these machines, and, you're happy that they're coming to the game, great. You get to support the game, you get to have a bit of fun. Think about all the other people who have to play at 5.0, 4.7, 5.3, or even 5.7 when they're grinding out their machines and they run into your stacked machine. What happens there? It takes them ages in Naval to research their modifications. And by that point, they've already lost the will to play the game mode because you battered them into submission with your fully spaded, fully kitted out machine in the form of the Prinz Eugen. It's not fun to play against. It is not fun to play against that, ever. Which is why you have this constant stream of new content which comes in at top tier, because once people have spaded those top tier vehicles and start smashing in them, you need to add something else so people can, keep catching up, keep catching, the rainbow or whatever they say. But in this, that's not happening for at least until March, right? So you've got a 2-month solid period where something like the Eugen is just going to be incredibly annoying to fight, just like the Helena is, right? Just like that. I'm not specifically, targeting the Eugen. It's just, once again, another thing which is piled onto the problems of top-tier naval. Imagine if in ground they added in a 10-3 vehicle, which was a premium, and they gave it to, I don't know, the Soviets. Imagine if they brought in the T-90, right? And they did the T-90, I don't know, A or B or whatever. Or maybe the T-72M. And not even that, maybe something ridiculous like I can't remember what it's called, but the one with the turrets, which is different, not the Armata, but the one which was made before, the black something, right? Imagine if they just brought that in as a 10-3, as a premium that you could just purchase. Everybody would be up in arms. But for some reason, because it's naval, and because it has a smaller player base, and because, I don't know, people like maybe fighting bots, or people are okay with the state of it, I don't see any complaining at all. And if the Helena had had a dev blog, instead of it just being on the dev server, you bet your balls I'd be making these same arguments. So this isn't a bias thing. This isn't because it's German. None of this crap. It's because this is unhealthy for a game. Incredibly unhealthy. Because, yes, it's nice to give options to people who want to purchase stuff in the game. At the same time, you need to keep options open to people who either just have premium or are free-to-play players in order to fill out those, parts of the game. Right now, what you have in Naval is you have a very small, dedicated community who likes playing top tier. And generally, those are the people who are paying for these vehicles, right? But the problem is you are missing that supplementary extra part, which is those free-to-play players which come in and play those top-tier vehicles with you. Instead, they're replaced by bots. So if you want that to continue, if you want the player base of Naval to keep decreasing, then please support these ideas. Oh, by the way, the Eugen also has the most crewing game. So it actually has, on top of everything else, the most survivability. Compared to, once again, the Admiral Hipper, its sister ship. This is a piss take. I think it's absolutely disgusting. I really do. And before you say, because I saw a lot of people with the KA50 video, right? Because this was the same scenario with the KA50 when I made the video looking at it on the dev blog. And I'll say it here. It doesn't matter if they bring in a higher BR ship. Let's say they put this in so they can bring in something like a battle cruiser for the Germans. Well, great. Now you've just added more power on top of other power. If you're trying to readdress a balance thing, then why not look at the Soviets? Or why not look at, the British? Or why not have a look at the Japanese? Instead of once again adding a ship to the two major nations, America and the Soviets, and Germany in the last two, which doesn't address anything and just pushes people towards these nations, so therefore we don't see any play from other nations. The argument with the KA50 was, well, the Mi-28's coming out, so you need a top tier premium, for people to research it. Yeah, that still means the KA50 exists. That still means that people are going to abuse it. Whether they abuse it well or abuse it badly, it is still there to be abused. And I generally think that is a terrible idea for the game, because it affects too many parts of the game and it affects too many people who cannot buy into these ideas. Yeah, it's got a cool skin on it. The skin isn't on the pre-order sale, though. If you want to have a look at it, this is it. You can pre-order it now for $59.99. You get 30 days of premium account. You get 2,000 golden eagles. You get a really nice decal, which looks like this. It is actually a really lovely decal. But what's kind of interesting is you also get a title called Royal Blood. And also, these pictures that you see here, they don't actually have the skin on it, which is kind of interesting. So, it's going to be interesting to see if you get this as an extra pre-order thing, or if this is just like a standard skin that you can unlock with it. Maybe that means that in the future, we'll have some machines which will have, these style of skins on them. I really hope so. But the main thing is, I'm just annoyed. If I'm honest, I hope the next devblog isn't like a premium Abrams or a premium Challenger, or a premium Phantom for Germany or Japan or something. I really think this is a horrific idea, and I'd like an answer. Why? What is the reasoning for putting top BR premium vehicles in the game? Do you think this promotes more people to play the game? Do you think what are the beneficiary ideas behind short-term and long-term ideas for these premium vehicles? Do you think it promotes people to play other nations? Do you think, all of these things? And they're not loaded questions at all. They're just simple questions which look at it. Another thing as well is in the live stream that they did, they said, as I said, even the change in the question, right? Instead of talking about top BR vehicles, they talked about top rank. And with this, as I said, this is coming as a rank 4, not a rank 5. But the fact is, there was a time where top rank vehicles were premium. You know where it happened? Ships. And it happened with destroyers. So please, like, God, I'm just annoyed. I'm sorry. I'm annoyed by it. I'll make sure to have a look at it on the dev server for you guys who want to pre-order it. And if you do want to have fun with this, make sure to have fun with it. I know it's a very powerful historical vehicle. A lot of people are interested in it, and don't see this as me, saying that you shouldn't buy it. See this as I don't think Gaijin should sell it. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Ambrosius McClellan, B. Young, Blackie, Daniel Stanton, Jay Wilt, John Ryman, Joseph Anders, Martinez, Moxie, Super Cacti, Uyins Terry, Elove Goat, and Seductive Trash Can for supporting the channel.